Hey loves, welcome back to my channel. Today guys, I'll be checking out this interesting video from Walsh, and it's titled How DEI Almost Killed Trump. You guys, I'm excited for this. If you're here to subscribe to this channel, please consider subscribing. Give this video a massive thumbs up, comment, share, and all that good stuff. And without much ado, let's see what Walsh has for us in this video.
It's still not entirely clear how a would-be assassin managed to take a position only 400 feet away from Donald Trump, a distance so close that skilled snipers would consider it essentially point-blank range. There's a lot we don't know. There's a lot we will likely never know. But we do know that Trump had, at best, in the most optimistic terms, an extremely inept, clumsy, and amateurish security detail. When you watch the footage, you are first shocked just by witnessing an attempted assassination, and then shocked by how ridiculous the security team looks. And this absurdity is due not entirely, but in very large part, to the fact that the 6'3" Donald Trump was protected by more than one tiny, and from the look and sound of it, rather scared and overwhelmed woman. Watch again the video of the moment it all happened and the several moments after. Listen to the voices of the Secret Service agents on stage, and listen for one voice in particular. Listen.
And then the worst president in the history of our country took over. And look what happened to our country. Probably 20 million people. And you know, that's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old. And if you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened.
What are we doing? What are we doing? Where are we going? Shouts a female voice. Wow. Now, I'm no security consultant myself, but I do have my own small security detail that accompanies me to many of my public events. It's a much smaller team, as you can imagine, and with much more limited resources, but I do know that the first thing they do before we arrive at a venue is establish the evacuation plan in case any proverbial crap hits the proverbial fan. Yeah. They won't need to shout, "What are we doing?" to each other if that scenario arises, because they already know what they're doing. In the case of the Secret Service, I would think that they would have even more detailed plans, and yet this female agent was totally clueless when the time came. Wow. And that's just the audio. The visuals are even worse. Consider now the iconic photo of Trump pumping his fist defiantly in the air, and right after the shooting, notice the female agent in front of him bent over, exposing his chest and head. Now, she does stand upright after the picture is taken, to be fair, but Trump's head and chest are still exposed because she is significantly shorter than him. And that photo is not nearly as damning as this one, where we see a different female agent crouched behind Trump and the other agents. She seems to me to appear to be shielding herself with their bodies rather than the other way around. Wow. And a few moments later, we see that same female agent, along with two others, looking, it would seem, panicked as they stand around Trump's vehicle and then wander away from his vehicle, leaving it exposed before coming back to it. Watch. Notice, as I'm sure you did, the agent struggling to holster her gun, giving up, and then trying again. It is a comedy of errors, only the comedy is not very funny given the circumstances.
You guys, what are your thoughts on the videos we've seen so far? We all know that as much as women are able to do the job of men, they are not as detailed, they are not as competent as men. And when it comes to situations like this, women are easily scared, and I can understand the reason why they were fidgeting so much. But leave your thoughts in the comment section down below, and let's continue watching, you guys.
Now, you might say that it's unfair to pin the security failures on the women. After all, the failures here go all the way to the top. I mean, they go far beyond the agents on the ground that day. Well, unfortunately, the person at the top of the Secret Service is also a woman. Kim Cheadle was appointed Secret Service Director by Joe Biden in 2022. Immediately upon being appointed, she did what liberal women in charge of any agency, organization, or company always do: prioritize DEI above all else. The Daily Signal reports, quote, Cheadle has been a forceful advocate of diversity in the Secret Service and in the security industry. She spoke about this in a 2022 interview with the website Women in Security while she was still working at PepsiCo. Wow. Quote, that achievement in a male-dominated industry was not lost on me, Cheadle said in the interview. I kept a photo on my desk of the first 5 women sworn into the service, and I used that to remind me that these women created opportunities for me and I can help others grow and lead as well. Wow. In a CBS interview in 2023, Cheadle addressed some of the issues of the Secret Service and said that a major priority would be diversity efforts. CBS noted that Cheadle was committed to having the Secret Service be 30% women by 2030. Here's the CBS report just mentioned.
To expand hiring, they're aiming to have 30% women recruits by 2030, and even allowed YouTube influencer Michelle Carre to train with agents.
But I'm very conscious as I sit in this chair now of making sure that we need to attract diverse candidates and ensure that we are developing and giving opportunities to everybody in our workforce, and particularly women.
That workforce will be pivotal for the 2024 campaign season, which for the first time includes a former president who already has lifetime protection. Agents were there when Donald Trump was arraigned in New York.
We were able to work out the details ahead of time of how that particular day was going to go, but we will always ensure the safety of all of our protectees that we have.
The service has a zero-fail mission, a mission officers are training to uphold, pretending this field is the most famous address in America.
Well, it's truly shocking, isn't it? The director of the Secret Service was focused on using social media influencers to attract more female applicants, and somehow that strategy did not result in a more skilled and competent workforce at the agency. What a twist. Who could have seen that coming? I mean, besides everybody with a functioning brain. Yeah. Now, from my vantage point, it could not be more clear that DEI policies and the forced inclusion of women probably played at least a role in this tragedy. DEI almost got a presidential candidate killed. Yeah. We can now say with some confidence. But does that mean that no woman should ever be allowed to serve in the Secret Service? Well, yes, it does. A serious country would not hire women to protect its presidents, for all of the reasons exhibited in painful detail on Saturday. For one thing, even if they do their jobs perfectly, they still lack the physical strength and stature to provide cover for a larger than average man, or even a smaller than average man.
That's true.
Look at the woman standing in front of Trump. Does anyone really think that the best person for that job, the best, most qualified human to be standing there in that position, in that situation, on that day, is a woman 2 heads shorter than the man she's protecting?
Wow, you guys, I totally agree with Matt Walsh on this one. Someone like Donald Trump should not be protected by a woman, because if push actually comes to shove, they are going to run away. And this is a typical example of that. Women do not have the capacity or the physical strength to protect an ex-president or a president aspirant. But let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section down below. There are some jobs that are really not meant for women, or even if women are in that particular field, they should be in the office while the men should go out and do the job in the field. But let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section down below, and let's wrap this video up, you guys.
Would any serious person deny that it would have been much better to have a larger and stronger man there?
Yeah.
No, not any serious person.
That's more logical.
This is why there should be no women in the Secret Service at all. This is supposed to be an elite security unit. And there is just no way that a woman, any woman anywhere, could be more objectively suited for the job than all the men you'd have to pass over to select her. And that's why, just like in the military, the police, fire department, etc., the physical fitness standards for women in the Secret Service are lower than they are for men. Okay, which means the people making the decision to recruit women into these roles know that women are less qualified, which is why they lower the standards in order to recruit them. But I think this is the easy, and among sane people anyway, uncontroversial part of this conversation. Women are smaller and weaker than men. They just are. A man like Trump should not be protected by women smaller and weaker than he is.
Yeah.
And that's reason enough to exclude women from the agency. But it's not the only reason. There's also the fact that women are not psychologically and emotionally equipped to deal with these kinds of high stress situations. And notice I say these kinds of high stress situations. There are other kinds of high stress situations that women are built to endure. Pregnancy and childbirth, for instance, are high stress situations. And so the point is not that women are across the board incompetent and helpless. I mean, some women are, just like some men are, but that's not the point. The point is that this kind of situation, this kind of situation, a sudden emergency, life or death, physical peril, chaos, screaming, this kind of situation is one where men are much, much more likely to respond in a cool, calm, unemotional, and level-headed way. Men and women are different. We have different bodies and different minds. A man's mind and body are made a certain way and specially equipped for moments like this. Now, feminists will deny that, of course, but every single one of them, if they're married, which is a big if, will be waking their husbands up to go downstairs and investigate a loud noise in the middle of the night, okay? There's not a woman alive on this planet who would not immediately lose any and all respect for her husband if he woke her up to go check on the noise. Okay, if her husband's shaking her awake in the middle of the night, honey, can you go check it? I'm scared. There's a loud noise downstairs. Can you go check it? I don't care how much of a feminist you are. Your husband does that to you, and you'll never look at him the same again.
That's true.
That's because every woman, when push comes to shove, absolutely recognizes that men are the ones who are supposed to deal with the scary, violent things.
That's true.
That's why they should be the Secret Service agents and the cops and the combat troops. Men are also generally more, and again, generally, men are generally more decisive than women. They make decisions quicker, more confidently. You can hear that in the footage. It's a woman screaming to the men, asking what they're supposed to do. So even in the Secret Service, the women turn to the men to make decisions. This, again, is a dynamic that all married couples have observed, and not only in high-stress situations. You know, even if the decision is something with relatively low stakes, but not no stakes, like something like, where are we going for dinner tonight? Generally, the wife will expect the husband to take the lead. We all know as men that if you say to your wife, well, where do you want to go tonight? You'll be here until breakfast, and then the decision will not matter anymore. So we've all noticed these dynamics. We've lived them. We just have. And yet so many of us have been engaged in a giant game of make-believe, pretending that we don't notice the things that we know we do notice, and we know everyone else knows that we notice them. Now, does that mean that men will always answer the call and answer it well? No. I mean, there were a lot of men that we can assume screwed up on Saturday. Think about the cops in Uvalde, who also proved this point. But the answer is to find better men, not to give up and resort to putting women in these roles.
Yeah.
And that is why the women in the Secret Service, and after this weekend's performance, the Secret Service in general, are all today canceled.
Wow, you guys, that was such an enlightening one from Matt Walsh. He has said nothing but the truth in this video. A special squad like the one that protests the president or an ex-president should not recruit women for the job. Because when it comes to high-stress situations like this, women do not know how to handle things. They lose their mind, they lose their composure, and at that point they may even turn to the person they are meant to protect for solution. And let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section down below. I really had fun reacting to Matt Walsh. He said nothing but the truth, and I really enjoyed every minute of this video. If you guys enjoyed watching, give this video a massive thumbs up, comment, share, and all that good stuff. And I'll see you all in my next video. Bye guys.